Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Laura. If you are new here and if you are returning, welcome back. I am so glad that you're all here. Today I'll be joining in the Flipping for Fall collaboration with the lovely Shantell from Crafty Hints, Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY, and Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun. We are to make 3 or more DIYs that are reversible. So I will be using the theme fall on one side, Christmas on the opposite side. For my first DIY, I will be making a sign that says, "May we be thankful and giving" on one side for fall. So I cut those words out with my Cricut with brown vinyl. I'll be using a bamboo cutting board from the Dollar Tree, as well as some faux leather. And then those dowels came from Walmart. Those are only $2. You get 3 dowels in a package. That's cheaper than you can buy anything like that from the Dollar Tree. Okay, so super simple DIY here. I'm simply going to add my wording right onto the cutting board, just like that. And then we'll move on to the next step. And now taking one of those dowels, I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. It was just a little too long. I cut mine with a miter saw. You can use a miter box or just, the old-fashioned way and just a handsaw, whatever you have. And you can make it as long or as short as you want as well. So here I just measured, I eyeballed where I wanted to cut, and there we go. And I just sanded off any splinters there and rounded off both ends to make them look the same on each end. And then with the color Hazelnut by Waverly, I watered some down, and I'm just going to stain my dowel. That is the closest color that I had in my stash to match that cutting board. And then there we go. See, it's a pretty good match. So I'm just going to finish up staining that dowel, and then we'll move on. And then I'm going to take the color Territorial Beige matte acrylic paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm just going to dry brush with that shaving brush. I love dry brushing with that brush. I got that from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to lightly dry brush that dowel just to give it a little bit of definition. It was a little too flat for me, so that's what I'm going to do here. And then I'm going to cut a strip of the faux leather just like that. I want to hang the board right off of this dowel. I've seen something similar to this at Joann's, and that's where I got my idea. So here I'm just going to cut that strip off, and then we will glue the ends together to kind of make a point. And here I'm just going to measure where I would like to hang the board from the dowel. So I'm measuring here and then getting, just eyeballing it, seeing where I think it would look good. And then I'm going to cut that piece right in half, making 2 hangers for my project. And now with some finger protectors, I am going to just glue down the inside of the strips of faux leather, just making like a little point there, just like that. And then I just repeated that same step with the second strap here, just like that. And then we'll start gluing our pieces together. I also cut the tips just to make sure they were the same length. That looks good to me. Now we'll move on. I took 2 thumbtacks and I'm going to paint them with some Territorial Beige as well as Hazelnut, and just made them look rusty, like rusty nails. And then I did cut off the pointy part of the thumbtack so I can glue that down, making it look like it's hammered into that leather strap. And then I'm going to glue those straps, just eyeballing it, just like this. Now I only used hot glue for this side, but I do use some E6000 on the opposite side. Before I decided to make this sign a reversible sign, I did glue down the leather straps to the back of the board, but we're going to change that up. So here I'm just adding that second strap, and I'm going to take some of this rope that I got from the hanging shelves from the Dollar Tree. These are just spare pieces, and then I'm just going to tie those in a knot on each side of the dowel, making a hanger for my board.
As you drive, do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my
Then I just glued my thumbtacks right onto the strap, just like that. Isn't that cute? This is so rustic. I love it. And then I had to touch up those little thumbtacks just like that. And then we'll move on to the back side. I lost the footage of me pasting down the Farm Fresh Christmas tree window cling and that arrow that I picked up from the Dollar Tree last year at Christmas time. I just used some Mod Podge and just glued that down. And then I'm going to take some tumbling tower blocks and use these as spacers, if you will, to make sure I have an even space between the dowel and the cutting board. And then I just repeated the steps with the straps, making points, and then adding some thumbtack heads looking like nails. And that's what the sign looks like on the opposite side. And now I want to take some time to thank these beautiful ladies, Shantell, Brenda, and Amanda. Thank you so much for hosting this challenge this month. I had a lot of fun creating. For my second project, it is a bit of a cheat. I picked this sign up all year long. I Dream of Autumn. This was in the fall section at the Dollar Tree last year. And I'm just going to take that board out and work on the opposite side, leaving the fall side as is. So I'm going to take some white chalk paint and I'm just going to paint that board. I did give it 2 coats. And then I fuzzy cut 2 Christmas trees from this window cling set from the Dollar Tree last year. I got this idea from, I believe it was Brenda from Rustic and Lace, and I just fuzzy cut those. I hope that is the right term that I'm using. What I did is I just cut all the gray plastic that was surrounding the trees, and then I cut out the words "'Tis the Season" with black vinyl, and I'm going to apply that right on the left hand top corner of my board here. Now the trees, funny, I went to lay those trees down onto the board and my paint was not quite dry, and they just stuck the first time I laid them down, and I thought, oh well, they're staying now, and luckily they're in a good spot, so it worked out. So here I'm just going to apply the words "'Tis the Season" just like that. And now that my words are laid down, now I'm going to fuzzy cut a smaller tree, making sure I get one that fits in that empty space just like that. And then I just applied that with some Mod Podge underneath, and then I sealed the whole top board with Mod Podge as well. And all that was left to do is to add that board right back into that frame, and I have a reversible sign, Christmas on one side and fall on the other. Before I move on to my third and final DIY today, I want to thank Shantell, Brenda, and Amanda for hosting this challenge this month. I had so much fun creating. I will leave their channels as well as the playlist link in my description box. I would really love it if you would go check everyone out, subscribe to their channels, and show everyone some love and support. You're going to have lots of fun and you're going to get real inspired. Okay, for my final DIY today, I will be making a double-sided porch sign for my porch. I'm going to take this Peace on Earth sign last year, from the Dollar Tree. And this year, welcome to our patch. I absolutely love that sign. I love them both. I'm not going to change either one of them much. Here I'm just fluffing up that little wreath on this sign. And then I'm going to remove the hangers from both boards. And then I'm going to attach some hinges. So I'll have a double-sided sign. So here I'm just going to remove those hangers, like I said. And on this Peace on Earth sign, the hanger was attached by some jute in these holes, and I want to cover those up, but we'll get to that in just a bit. The Our Patch sign did not have holes in it, and the detail was already there, so I didn't change that one at all. So here I'm just trying to see where I would like to attach these hinges, and I will be using E6000 instead of the screws that the came with, because the screws are way too long. So here I'm just making sure my board will close together back to back. And then I'm just eyeballing here, trying to make it even on both sides. I'm just going to apply some E6000 and then attach that hinge, making sure it is positioned the right way. And then I'll use some clamps to clamp those down and let that sit for about 2 hours. And now to cover up those holes on the Peace on Earth sign, I'm going to take some jute. I've already burned off most of the little hairs off of that jute, and I'm just going to start in the back. I'm going to glue it down, and I'm just going to wrap it around the board, I think 4 or 5 times, and then I just glued the end to the back side as well, trimmed off the excess, and then I flipped it over, and then I pulled a couple straps down, making a crisscross pattern. And now it's time to glue the opposite hinge. Now here I almost made a mistake and glued the wrong side. Do you see there? I need those hinges on the back side, not the front side. So luckily I caught myself and I flipped it back over, and I want to glue those hinges just like so, back to back. I repeated the same steps. I added E6000, positioned the hinges, and I just clamped them with some clamps and just let that dry.
I watch you as you dry.
And now I need to add some ribbon to the inside of my boards so they don't fall flat when I open it up. So I'm going to take this brown satin ribbon, and I'm just going to glue one end down on the inside of the board, just like so. I didn't measure this side, but on the second board I will measure to make sure that it sits straight. So I'm just cutting a piece off, and then I also cut another piece and just glued that across there for just some extra stability. And then, like I said, I'll just glue that right onto the opposite board. So what I did is I just flipped that upside down, glued the opposite board, and this sign is complete.
I watch you as you dry. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my feet up.
And here's the final reveal. May we be thankful and giving. I love this rustic sign. I hope you all love it too. And then here is the All Year Long I Dream of Autumn. Didn't change that sign a bit. And then over on this side, welcome to our patch. Didn't change this sign as well. I love everything about it. There's that applique there. And then here is the opposite side. Farm fresh Christmas trees, pine, cedar, or pine, spruce, cedar, and fir. I love it. And then over here, 'tis the season with those beautiful Christmas trees. I hope you all enjoy my video today. There's the peace on earth sign for my porch. And don't forget to go show everyone some love and support in the playlist as well as the host for this video. And with all that said, I hope I have inspired you. I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye for now.